Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Welcome to the Chandler Center for the Arts. We got a great show for you here today, but I've got a few notes to go over before we get started. First, I'd like to thank our season sponsors for helping us do what we do. So a huge thanks to Stina Murray, the Intel Corporation, and Salt River Project. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. I think I forgot. My name is Kristen Pierce. I'm the volunteer manager and patron services coordinator here at the Chandler Center for the Arts. So I would like to take a moment to thank my volunteer usher staff. All the folks dressed in black and white today are all black, helping you find your seats. They're all volunteer staff here. So a big thank you to all of my volunteer staff. Thank you. If you're interested in volunteering, you can check the Support Us page on our website. We love to add new friends to our group, so check that out. Also, please take a moment now to find two exits that are closest to you, keeping in mind that your closest exit may not be the one you came in. So just in case, take a moment, find two exits. Also, take a moment to silence any sort of devices that might beep, ring, disturb those around you. There's no flash photography permitted today. You may take photo and video, just no flash. And please don't use your phones continuously. It's very disturbing to those around you when people are watching other sports games and things and shopping. And just be present in the moment and watch the show. Put your phone away today if you would be so kind. Also, as a courtesy to those around you, please take a moment to remove any hats while in the theater. Our seats aren't raked incredibly, so if you would do those around you a favor and just remove your hats while you're in here, that would be great as well, please. Also, we do encourage you to boogie in your seats, but due to fire code, there is no standing or dancing at the base of the stage down here or in the aisles today. So you're welcome to do that at your seats. You can stand and dance or boogie in your seat, but please do not block the aisleways. I know, blame the fire marshal, it's not me, I know. But please help us keep everybody safe with that, all right? Let's see, finally, I would just like to say there is that 50-50 raffle. So if you haven't participated already, we're still gonna sell 50-50 raffle tickets at the beginning of intermission. And then when intermission is done, we will call the winner. And then after the show, whoever is the lucky winner can come collect their winnings at the front of house desk in the foyer. That's the white marble desk under the big art thing in the foyer. So that's where you can collect if you're the lucky winner today. All right, that's all I've got. So now please welcome Showtune Production presents Scott Moreau's Walking the Line.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. I hear the train a-comin', it's rollin' around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps a-rollin' on down a sad road. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Yeah! When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. All right, John. Coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep a moving, and that's what tortures me. One more time. if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Well, hello, Chandler. How's everybody doing out there today? Man, there's a lot of people out there. Well, we are just so pleased to have you here with us today, and we hope that you'll feel right at home. The songs we're going to be doing for you today, I've been doing for the last number of years, but if you like the songs, well, then they're all just like brand new to us, and we hope that you hear something today that you feel is being done just for you. Now, it was back in 1955 in Memphis, Tennessee, when Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two got our start. The Tennessee Two were Marshall Grant on the upright bass and Luther Perkins picking like only he could on the guitar. And when we first walked into Sun Records there in Memphis, Tennessee, the man who run the place at the time, Mr. Sam Phillips, well, he wasn't too impressed with me. Mostly because all I wanted to do was record gospel music. He said he couldn't sell gospel music anymore. Said if we were serious about being in the music business, we was going to have to go back and write him something else. So me and the boys got to putting some music to a poem I had written when I was coming back from being in the Air Force in Germany. I used to like to say I spent 20 years in the Air Force from 1950 to 1954. And I thought the song might do all right because I knew I wasn't the first person to ever miss home. Here's that first song we recorded on Sun Records in 1955. It's called Hey Porter. 1, 2. Hey Porter, would you tell me the time? How much longer will it be till we cross that Mason-Dixon line? At daylight, would you tell that engineer to slow it down? Or better still, just stop the train, 'cause I want to look around. Hey Porter, what time did you say? How much longer will it be till I can see the light of day? When we hit Dixie, would you tell that engineer to ring his bell and ask everybody that ain't asleep to stand right up and yell? All right, John. It's getting light outside. This old train is puffing smoke and I have to strain my eyes. But ask that engineer if he could blow his whistle, please. 'Cause I smell frost on cotton leaves and I feel that southern breeze. Hey Porter, please get my bags for me. I need nobody to tell me now that we're in Tennessee. Don't tell that engineer to make that lonesome whistle scream. We're not so far from home. Take it easy on the steam. One more time. Hey Porter, please open up the door. When they stop this train, I'm gonna get off first, 'cause I can't wait no more. Tell that engineer I said thanks a lot and I didn't mind the fare. I'm gonna set my feet on southern soil and breathe that southern air. So once we was finished recording that song, we were so excited you can't hardly believe it. And Mr. Phillips, he gave me a test pressing of that on 78. Y'all remember 78 records? Hope we didn't get rid of them. They're worth an awful lot of money these days. But he gave me a test pressing of that, and I took it to this DJ that I was working for on and off at the time, a guy by the name of Bob Neal. And I went to hand it to him to play, but I was so nervous my hands were shaking so bad. I dropped that thing on the ground, shattered into a million pieces. I was real upset because I thought that was the only one we had. So I went back to tell Mr. Phillips all about it, and he kind of gave me this look and showed me a box of about 200 copies. Well, I guess I was pretty green in those days, but he also said we couldn't release just one side of a record. If we wanted to put that song out, we was going to have to go back and write him something else to put on the other side. He said to make it a real country weeper. So I went back. I was trying to write something, and nothing was coming to me. I turned on the radio to my favorite radio station, and the DJ, Smiling Eddie Hill, said, "This next song is about love and heartbreak, and it's going to make you cry, cry, cry." And I guess it's all the inspiration I needed. 1, 2, 1. Everybody knows where you go when the sun goes down. I think you only live to see the lights uptown. I wasted my time when I would try. 'Cause when the lights have lost their glow, you'll cry, cry, cry. Soon your sugar daddies will all be gone. You'll wake up some cold day and find you're alone. You'll call for me, but I'm gonna tell you bye, bye, bye. When I turn around and walk away, you'll cry, cry, cry. You're gonna cry, 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 and you'll cry alone. When everyone's forgotten and you're left on your own, you're gonna cry, cry, cry. Make that guitar cry. I get a lie, lie, lie. For every lie you tell, you're gonna cry, cry, cry. When your fickle love gets old, no one will care for you. Then you'll come back to me for a little love that's true. I tell you no, and then you'll ask me why, why. When I remind you of all this, you'll cry, cry, cry. Gonna cry, 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 and you'll want me then. It'll hurt when you think of the fool you've been. You're gonna cry, cry, cry. All right, now we're going to go ahead and slow it down a little for you. At my door, the leaves are falling. A cold, wild wind will come. Sweethearts walk by together, but I still miss someone. I go out on a party, look for a little fun, but I find a darkened corner, 'cause I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over those blue eyes. I see them everywhere. I miss those arms that held me, and all the love was there. I wonder if she is sorry for leaving what we had begun. There's someone for me somewhere, but I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over everywhere. I miss those arms that held me when all the love was there. I wonder if she is sorry for leaving what we had begun. There's someone for me somewhere, but I still miss someone. Thank you. Well, I slowed it down, and now we'll go ahead and speed it right back up. Hey, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rock and roll feeling in your bones with taps on your toes and get gone. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. A little shoeshine boy, he never gets a low down, but he's got the dirtiest job in town, bending low at the people's feet on a windy corner of a dirty street. Well, I asked him while he shined my shoes, how do you keep from getting the blues? He grinned as he raised his little head, he popped the shoeshine rag, and then he said, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. A jumpy rhythm makes you feel so fine, it can shake all the trouble from your worried mind. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get that rhythm, y'all. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rock and roll feeling in your bones with taps on your toes and get gone. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Well, I sat down to listen to the shoeshine boy, and I thought I was gonna jump for joy. Slapped on the shoe polish left and right, he took a shoeshine rag and he held it tight. He stopped once to wipe the sweat away and said, you're right, little boy, to be working that away. He said, I like it with a big wide grin. Kept on a popping, then he said again, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. A dime does $1 million worth of good for you. Get rhythm when you get the blues. All right, thank you all so very much. How y'all doing so far? You enjoying yourselves? All right, good. Do you like songs about cowboys? All right, good, because I wrote a couple of those. I wrote this song all the way back in 1957. At that point, I knew that I was leaving Sun Records in Memphis to go to Columbia Records in Nashville. And, well, I thought this was a pretty darn good song, so I decided to hold it off and put it on my first album to come out on Columbia, one I had no hand in naming. It is called The Fabulous Johnny Cash. And this song is called Don't Take Your Guns to Town. A young cowboy named Billy Joe grew restless on the farm. A boy filled with wanderlust who really meant no harm. He changed his clothes and shined his boots and combed his dark hair down. But his mother cried as he walked out, don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town. He laughed and kissed his mom and said, you're Billy Joe's a man. I could shoot as quick and straight as anybody can, but I wouldn't shoot without a cause. I'd gun nobody down. But she cried again as he rode away, don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town. He sang a song as on he rode, his guns hung at his hips. He rode that old town, a smile upon his lips. He stopped and walked into a bar and laid his money down. But his mother's words echoed again. Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town. He drank his first strong liquor then to calm his shaking hand. Tried to tell himself at last he had become a man. A dusty cowpoke at his side began to laugh him down. But he heard again his mother's words. Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town. Filled with rage, then Billy Joe reached for his gun to draw. But the stranger drew his gun and fired before he even saw. As Billy Joe fell to the floor, the crowd all gathered round and wondered at his final words. Don't take your guns to town, son. Leave your guns at home, Bill. Don't take your guns to town. Well, from a good old cowboy song to a good old country boy song. Country boy ain't got no shoes. Country boy ain't got no blues. Well, you work all day while you're wanting to play in the sun and the sand with a face and stand. But at the end of the day when your work is done, you ain't got nothing but fun. Country boy, you ain't got no ills. Country boy, you don't owe no bills. You get a wiggly worm and then you watch him squirm and you put him on a hook and then you drop him in a brook. And if everything's gonna turn out right, you're gonna fry fish tonight. Country boy, you're lucky free. Country boy, I wish I was you and you was me. Play it, country boy. Through. There's a lot of life in you, country boy. You got a shaggy dog, country boy, up a holler log. Well, he comes in a run when you pick up your gun and with a shell or two, and your dog and you. When you get your rabbit, you'll skin his hide. He's gonna be good fried, country boy. You gotta learn to lose. Country boy, how I wish I was in your shoes. Country boy, how I wish I was in your shoes. All right, let's hear it for this amazing band behind me, huh? Yeah. I'm going to introduce them all to you right now. Over there on the keys, we have Denise Minter. Right here on the big bass fiddle, that's Dr. Dan Stotes. Behind me on the drum kit, that's Emerson Lathey. And over here on the acoustic and electric guitars, that's John Knowlton. So, how many of you out there remember the flood of 1937? See, you're laughing, but if you're laughing, that means somebody out there remembers the flood of 1937. Well, in 1937, the Mississippi River went over the bank and broke the levees, flooded the cotton land in northeast Arkansas. My daddy said we would stay with our house just as long as he could, but little by little he watched the water rising over the front steps, and he said that once it had reached 5 feet high, we was going to have to leave. Well, we did leave, and 20 years later I wrote this song. How high is the water, mama? 2 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 2 feet high and rising. We can make it to the road in a homemade boat, 'cause that's the only thing we got left that'll float. It's already over all the weed and oats, 2 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? 3 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 3 feet high and rising. Well, the hives are gone, I've lost my bees. The chickens are sleeping in the willow trees. Cows in the water up past their knees, 3 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? 4 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 4 feet high and rising. Hey, come look through the window pane. The bus is coming, gonna take us to the train. Looks like we'll be blessed with a little more rain. 4 feet high and rising. How high is the water, mama? 5 feet high and rising. How high is the water, papa? She said it's 5 feet high and rising. Well, the rails are washed out north of town. We gotta head for higher ground. We can't come back till the water goes down. 5 feet high and rising. Well, it's 5 feet high and rising. Years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed beneath the town hall lights. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. Now the scaffold is high and eternity is near. She stood in the crowd, shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Thank you so much. This next song was actually written by my wife, June Carter, and our good friend, Merle Kilgore. Originally, it was June's sister, Anita Carter, that recorded this song, and you've never heard Anita Carter's version of this song. I highly suggest you look it up. But I let her have it for a little while, see if she could get a hit out of it, and when it came my time to record it, I kept having this dream about mariachi trumpets. But putting trumpets on a hillbilly record in 1963 was a pretty crazy idea. So I called the only guy I knew that was crazier than me, a guy by the name of Cowboy Jack Clement. He had engineered records for guys like George Jones, Waylon Jennings, Charlie Pride. I brought him into the studio. I'd hired two trumpet players, had no idea what to tell him to play. Didn't take but 5 minutes before Cowboy Jack had it sounding like it did on the record. And since we don't have a trumpet player up here, the trumpet line will be played by Denise Minter on the keys. 1, 2, 3. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. All right. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours beat. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire, the ring of fire, the ring of fire. All right. Keep it going for Denise Minter on the keys. All right. Have y'all heard of my daughter, Roseanne Cash? You know Roseanne Cash? Yeah, she's a heck of a songwriter, and she's won a number of Grammys herself. And a few years ago, she come up to me, and she was all excited about this song that she had found to put on her next album. And she was excited about it, she said, because it was in the public domain, which meant she wasn't going to have to pay any royalties on it. And I was thinking, what song could be so interesting that's in the public domain that she wants to record? So I said, well, what's the name of the song? She said, it's called Tennessee Flat Top Box. I said, that ain't in the public domain because I wrote that song. So now you owe me royalties. We got it worked out and all that. But here's that song that Roseanne loves so much, featuring John Knowlton on the acoustic guitar, Tennessee Flat Top Box. In a little cabaret in a South Texas border town sat a boy and his guitar, and the people came from all around, and all the girls from there to Austin were slipping away from home and putting jewelry in hock to take the trip to go and listen to the little dark-haired boy that played the Tennessee Flat Top Box, and he would play Well, he couldn't ride or wrangle, and he never cared to make a dime, but give him his guitar, and he'd be happy all the time. And all the girls from 9 to 90 were snapping fingers, tapping toes, and begging him don't stop, and hypnotized and fascinated by the little dark-haired boy that played the Tennessee flat-top box, and he would play. Then one day he was gone, and no one ever saw him round. He vanished like the breeze, and they forgot him in the little town. But all the girls still dreamed about him and hung around the cabaret until the doors were locked. And that one day on the hit parade was a little dark-haired boy that played the Tennessee flat-top box, and he would play. Keep it going for John Knowlton on the acoustic guitar. All right, so we've established you like songs about cowboys, you like songs about country boys. Do you like songs about trains? All right, good, because I wrote a few of those as well. You know, when I was growing up, first house that me and my family lived in was in a place called Kingsland, Arkansas. We lived there until I was about 3 years old. We had a little shotgun shack that we had there, and train tracks that run behind the house. And almost every day, my daddy, he was having trouble trying to find work because it was the Great Depression. And he'd go out and he would lay down in the train tracks and wait for the train to pass over his head into the station and stop. Then he would hang on to the bottom of that train and he'd ride into the next town or the next town or the next town. Sometimes he'd ride underneath the train, sometimes he'd ride inside the boxcar, sometimes he'd ride on top. Lots of gentlemen were doing that in those days to try to find work. If you've ever heard the term riding the rods or riding the rails, well, that's where the terms come from. Sometimes he'd be gone for days at a time. We didn't know whether he'd been hurt or whether he'd found good work. And I don't know that I could ever remember being more happy as a little boy seeing my daddy coming in that back door, knowing he was all right. But I think it was that train running behind the house that kept that train sound in my head and in my blood. And this is one of my favorite train songs, made famous by Lonnie Donegan, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, this here's a story about the Rock Island Line. Well, the Rock Island Line, she runs down into New Orleans, you know. There's a big toll gate down there, and well, if you got certain things on board when you go through the toll gate, you ain't got to pay the man no toll. So the train driver, he pulled on up to the toll gate, and the man hollered and asked him what all he had on board. He said, I got livestock, I got livestock, I got cows, I got pigs, I got sheep, I got mules, I got all livestock. Well, I said, you all right, boy, you ain't got to pay no toll, you can just go right on through. So the train driver went on through that toll gate. Well, he started picking up a little bit of speed. Started picking up a little bit of steam. As he got on through that toll gate, he turned back at the man and said, well, I fooled you, I got pig iron, I got pig iron, I got all pig iron. Well, the Rock On Line, she's a mighty good road. Rock On Line is a road to ride. Rock On Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you ride, you got to ride it like a fine to get the ticket at the station for the Rock On Line. Well, cloudy in the west and it looked like rain. Around the curve come a passenger train. Northbound train to southbound track. She's already leaving, but she won't be back. Well, the Rock On Line is a mighty good road. Rock On Line is a road to ride. Rock On Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you ride, you got to ride it like a fine to get a ticket at the station for the Rock On Line. Well, I may be right and I may be wrong, but you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Well, the engineer said before he died there were some more drinks that he'd like to try. The conductor said, what could they be? Hot cup of coffee and a cold glass of tea. Well, the Rock On Line is a mighty good road. Rock On Line is a road to ride. Rock On Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you ride, you got to ride like a fine to get a ticket at the station for the Rock On Line. Ooh-wee. I got to spit those lyrics out faster than you could kiss a duck, you know what I mean? This next song is another one I wrote all the way back in 1957. I wrote it as I was walking the streets of Memphis, Tennessee as the world's worst door-to-door appliance salesman for a place called Home Equipment Company out on Summer. And almost every day on my lunch break, I would go down to this great record store that was down on Beale Street at the time and waste my money there and my time. But, you know, they ended up tearing that record store down. You know what they put in its place? Anyone? Yeah. Most popular answers, Walmart, Starbucks, McDonald's. Nope, they tore down that record store and they put up a statue of Elvis Presley. Now listen, I love Elvis, it's not that, but it's an awfully nice record store to tear down and put up a statue. But that record store and this song share the same name, the home of the blues. Just around the corner there's heartache. Down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, you'll find me at the home of the blues. I walk and cry while my heart beats, keeps time with the drag of my shoes. The sun never shines through this window of mine. It's dark at the home of the blues. Oh, but the place is filled with the sweetest memories. Memories so sweet that I cry. Dreams that I've had left me feeling so bad. I just wanna live up and lay down and die. So if you've just lost your sweetheart and it seems there's no good way to choose, come along with me, misery loves company. You're welcome at the home of the blues. All right. Just around the corner there's heartache. Down the street that losers use. If you can wade in through the teardrops, you'll find me at the home of the blues. Yeah, you're gonna find me at the home of the blues. All right, how'd you like to hear another good old-fashioned train song? You want another train song? All right, how about it, Emerson? Well, they gave him his orders at Monroe, Virginia, saying, Steve, you're way behind time. This is not 38, this is old 97. Put her in the spin strong time. Well, he turned around and said to his big greasy fireman, hey, shovel on a little more coal. And when we cross that white oak mountain, watch old 97 roll. Play that thing. It's a mighty rough road from Lynchburg to Danville in a line on a 3-mile grade. It was on that grade that he lost his air brake. See what a jump he made. 'Cause he was going down the grade making 90 miles an hour. His whistle broke into a scream. He was found in the wreck with his hand on the throttle, scalded to death by the steam. Now all you ladies, you better take warning from this time on and learn. Never speak harsh words to your true love or husband. He may leave you and never return. All right, we got a couple more for you, and then we're going to take a little break, and then y'all can take a little break yourselves. Do we have any Bob Dylan fans out there? All right, good, good. I don't mean to get your hopes up because we're not going to do a Bob Dylan song. If you didn't know, me and Bob, we've been good friends for a long time. I wrote the liner notes for his album, Nashville Skyline, and the first song on that album is a duet that we recorded together called Girl from the North Country. Now, this next song we're going to do for you is what Bob has always said was his favorite song of mine. Now, I don't know if that's because it kind of sounds like a Bob Dylan song, or if it's because we mention his home state in it. And if you don't know what that is, when we get there, I'll give you a little wink, so you watch this eye right here, all right? This is Bob Dylan's favorite Johnny Cash song. 1, 2, 1. Now I taught the weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears that I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it tore me up every time I heard her drawl, southern drawl. Then I heard my dream went back downstream, cavorting in Davenport, and I followed you, big river, when you called, all guitar. Took me to St. Louis later on down the river. Freighter said she's been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. I found her trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff. She raised a few eyebrows and then she went on down alone. Now won't you bat it down by Baton Rouge, River Queen, roll it on. Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Go on, I've had enough. Up my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, big river, more than me. I'll play it again. Now I taught the weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. And I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears that I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. All right. Thank you so much. Like I said, we got one more for you here before we take a little break. As I said before, when me and the Tennessee Two, when we first walked into Sun Records, it was just me and Marshall Grant on the upright bass, Luther Perkins on the electric guitar, and we actually also had a steel guitar player by the name of Rod Kernodle. Well, Rod was so nervous he couldn't tune his darn instruments, so he decided to leave. And that's how I became Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two, even though not one of us is from Tennessee. But the reason we didn't have a drummer, and I apologize to Emerson about this all the time, but we didn't have a drummer with us because they would not allow drummers on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry. And, well, that was our end game, you know, we wanted to be on the stage there. So I missed that sound, though, that come from a drummer. So when we were in the studio at Sun Records, we were trying to figure out how to kind of replicate that sound. So what I did was I took a dollar bill and I wove it through the strings on my guitar and held it down and played it like this. So that's what that sound is on all those Sun Records, is me doing that. No drummers on any of that stuff. This is heavily featured on this next song. It's a very personal one to me. I wrote it in 1956 for my first wife, Vivian. It's called I Walk the Line. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone when each day is through. Yes, I'll admit that I'm a fool for you. Because you're mine, I walk the line. As sure as night is dark and day is light, I keep you on my mind both day and night. And happiness I've known proves that it's right. Because you're mine, I walk the line. You've got a way to keep me on your side. You give me cause for love that I can't hide. For you I know I'd even try to turn the tide. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Oh, I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the break. We'll see you in a few minutes.